What if the water rising around you wasn't the worst thing in it? In Thrash, 2026, a city is swallowed by a deadly flood. But something far more terrifying swims beneath the surface. This isn't just survival. This is nature turning into a nightmare. The film opens in a coastal city already battling heavy rainstorms. News reports warn of a massive storm surge approaching, but most people don't take it seriously. Among them is Lena Carter, a heavily pregnant woman just days away from giving birth. She's trying to get to the hospital before the storm worsens, but time runs out. As she drives through the city, the rain intensifies. Streets begin to flood. Traffic stops. Panic spreads. Then suddenly, a massive wave crashes through the streets. Water rushes in violently, sweeping cars, people, and debris. Lena's car is caught. Within seconds, it's sinking. The water fills the car rapidly. Lena struggles, panicking, trying to unlock the door, but pressure from the water outside makes it impossible to open. Her breathing becomes heavier. The baby is coming. Outside, chaos unfolds. People scream, climb, and fight to survive. That's when we meet Dakota, a young, fearless swimmer who's trying to help survivors escape. She spots Lena, a trapped woman, a sinking car. No time to think. Dakota dives into the floodwaters. The current is strong. Debris floats everywhere. She swims toward the car, fighting against the current. Inside, Lena is losing consciousness. Dakota reaches a car window and smashes it open. Water rushes incompletely. She pulls Lena out just in time. But as they swim towards safety, something moves beneath them. Fast, silent, deadly. A shark. The flood has brought something unexpected into the city. Sharks, carried in by the storm surge from the ocean. Hungry, disoriented, aggressive. The streets are no longer just flooded. They've become a hunting ground. Dakota and Lena climb onto a tree, barely escaping the water. From above, they watch in horror as people are dragged under. The city is no longer safe, not even above water. Lena is in pain. The contractions have started. She's going into labor. Right there, stranded in a flooded city filled with sharks. Dakota realizes they can't stay there long. They need higher ground. But moving means going back into the water, and the sharks are everywhere. Dakota helps Lena move from tree to debris, from debris to rooftops, risking their lives every second. Along the way, they encounter other survivors. A father searching for his child, a wounded man who can't swim, a group trapped inside a submerged bus. But not everyone makes it. Every movement in the water attracts the sharks. Every mistake costs a life. The tension rises with every step. At one point, Dakota is forced to swim again to clear a path. That's when the sharks attack. A brutal, intense sequence unfolds as she fights to survive in open water. She barely escapes, injured, exhausted, but alive. Now time is running out. Lena can't hold on much longer. They reach a partially submerged building. It's unstable, but it's their only chance. Inside, water fills the lower floors. The upper level is barely dry. There, Lena collapses. She's going into full labor. No doctors, no equipment, no help. Just Dakota. Outside, the water keeps rising. Inside, life is about to begin. As Lena struggles through labor, the building begins to crack under pressure. Water seeps in. The sharks circle below. Dakota does everything she can to help. And in one of the most intense scenes of the film, Lena gives birth. A child born in the middle of chaos, in the middle of death, a symbol of hope. But they're not safe yet. The building begins to collapse. Dakota must carry both Lena and the newborn. She jumps back into the water one last time. The sharks are close, closer than ever. A final chase begins as rescue teams begin to secure survivors. News starts to reveal something disturbing. This wasn't just a natural disaster. The storm surge was intensified by a failed coastal barrier system, a man-made project designed to protect the city. It collapsed under pressure, allowing ocean water and everything in it to rush inland, including the sharks. Rumors begin to spread among survivors. Some of the sharks weren't behaving normally. They were more aggressive, more coordinated, almost like something had disturbed their natural instincts. Dakota overhears emergency responders talking about a nearby marine research facility that was flooded during the storm. Something from there might have escaped. While recovering in a temporary shelter, Dakota notices strange bite patterns on survivors. These aren't random attacks. The sharks seem to target movement, noise, even heartbeats. One injured survivor claims. They weren't just hunting, they were chasing. This raises a terrifying possibility. The flood didn't just bring sharks into the city. It may have turned them into something worse. Meanwhile, Lena struggles to recover after childbirth. She's weak, but determined to protect her baby. She names the child Hope, because in a world like this, that's all they have left, just when it seems like things are stabilizing. Another wave hits, not as large as the first, but enough to reflood parts of the city. And with it, more sharks. Panic erupts again. The shelters aren't safe anymore. Water begins creeping in, and survivors are forced to evacuate once more. Dakota realizes something critical. They're still in danger. And this nightmare isn't over yet. Dakota teams up with a small group of survivors, including the father she met earlier, now reunited with his injured son, a former Coast Guard officer who understands the tides, and Lena, who refuses to be left behind despite her condition. Their goal: reach a military evacuation zone on higher ground outside the city. But the path there is impossible on foot. They'll have to travel through the water, using whatever they can find. They build a makeshift raft using debris, doors, and broken furniture. It's unstable, fragile, but it's their only chance. The group sets off across the flooded city. The silence is eerie. No traffic, no voices, just water and distant screams. Every ripple feels like danger. Every shadow beneath the surface could be a shark. At one point, the raft gets stuck between submerged vehicles. Dakota climbs down to free it. The water is murky. She can't see anything. Then, a sudden movement. A shark lunges from below. She narrowly escapes, but the message is clear. Nowhere is safe. As they continue, the group is attacked again. This time, they're not so lucky. One of the survivors falls into the water. The sharks strike instantly. The scene is brutal, chaotic, and fast. The group is forced to keep moving, unable to save him. The loss hits hard, but it also strengthens their resolve. They must survive, no matter the cost. They reach a partially collapsed bridge, the only way to reach the evacuation zone. But the structure is unstable, and the water beneath it is filled with sharks. To cross, they must move slowly, carefully, balancing between broken sections. Halfway across, the bridge begins to shift. Debris falls into the water. The sharks go into a frenzy. The noise attracts them. As Lena struggles to move, holding her newborn, the bridge starts collapsing faster. Dakota faces a choice: save herself, or go back and help Lena. Without hesitation, she turns back. Fighting against fear, exhaustion, and time, she helps Lena across. Step by step, the baby cries. The sound echoes. Below them, sharks circle faster. Closer. High voltage Act 21. Final attack. Just before they reach safety, a massive shark leaps from the water. It knocks part of the bridge apart. Dakota nearly falls, but manages to hold on. In one final burst of strength, she pulls Lena to safety. The group makes it across. Barely. Helicopter Act 22. Salvation. On the other side, military forces await. They've secured the area. Helicopters hover above. Rescue teams rush in. For the first time since the disaster began, there is real safety. Dakota collapses, exhausted. Lena clutches her baby tightly. They've made it. Days later, the floodwaters begin to recede completely. The city is left in ruins, but life continues. Dakota visits Lena and baby Hope in a recovery center. They share a quiet moment. No words needed, just understanding. They survived something unimaginable, and they did it together. Thrash 2026 shows us that sometimes the greatest battles aren't against monsters, but against fear, against loss, against a moment when giving up feels easier than fighting on. Dakota didn't just save lives. She proved that even in the darkest waters, human strength can still rise above. Because when the flood takes everything, what you hold on to defines who you become.